All right, folks, welcome in. Yep. Is this on? Is this on?
Hello.
Hello, good morning. About 9 minutes into the 7 o'clock hour, 2 best hours of local live talk radio. I believe we're on the air now. And East Mississippi and West Alabama got Rob and Charles Frazier for a Monday.
Morning.
How are you this morning, sir?
Fine. How are you?
I had to battle through some fog, but
Battled through it.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, a little froggy out in the Meehan area this morning.
Yeah, pretty clear over where I came in. So
yeah, but
everything's a little foggy over in Meehan, isn't it?
Yeah, more rain expected today and a little bit tomorrow. So, and then we're going to get back down into the freezing temps again later in the week.
But no rain with the freezing temps, because that would mean
yeah.
Dare I say it? Okay, I didn't say it.
Milk and bread.
What? Go get it.
601-485-9191 is our number as we get rolling here on this Back to Work Monday. 16 days, folks. Tick tock. They're rolling.
To what?
Ho.
No. Yeah. Are you ready?
No.
Really? Okay.
Are you ready?
As far as gift purchasing,
yeah,
I'm about 90% ready.
Good for
you.
Good for you.
Well, yeah. I used to wait until literally Christmas Eve, at midnight. I'd finish work late.
And I've never done that before.
Oh, man, it was terrible.
I think the latest I've ever waited is like the 23rd.
Okay.
I've never gone into Christmas Eve before.
Yeah,
so.
no, I've done that before many times. But,
so what was that experience like?
Well, I did that many years. So, it was terrible, as you can
imagine.
Mall? No, usually kind of Walmart and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Picking up those last minute, Yeah. Anyway.
Well, there's always the old fruitcake log on the end of the end cap on the. I'm just kidding.
That's the gift that keeps giving.
That is
every
the
year.
gift that
You
keeps
get it next year. I don't want the fruitcake.
I saw the absolute best gift for someone maybe on your shopping list.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the gift that keeps on giving the whole year, someone posted this. I don't know if this was real or not. You don't know what to believe. If it's on Facebook, it's got to be real.
Yeah.
It was in a grocery store. It was Pabst Blue Ribbon.
PBR
365, one for every day of the year. She said the gift that keeps on giving.
That'd be gone by January 15th.
I'm about to say that'd be gone by the middle of January. So I was like, the
gift on giving till mid-January.
I was like, that's the biggest case of beer I've ever seen in my life. So I was like, yeah, that's not going to last the whole year. So, but
300. How much does that thing weigh? I didn't even carry that thing.
I don't know.
God.
Well, it's like those whenever you go like to Cracker Barrel or anywhere, like you see the big giant candy bars where like who's buying a 3-pound candy bar?
Well, I mean, we are the fattest state, of course.
Well, let's call Wilford.
Number one.
Call Wilford Brimley. Diabetes.
That's right.
But I thought about that one day.
Much.
I thought about that one day. I was like, who's buying the 3-pound or 5-pound candy bar?
I have no idea. Well, I imagine it's not for...
I mean, it'd be like a gag gift or something like that.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a company Christmas party, like if you do the Dirty Santa gifts, that could be like a gag gift or something, I guess. But
well, and I got when I was probably about 12, somebody gave me a candy cane that was the size of a real cane. It was like a 3-foot candy cane, and the damn that thing was about 2 inches. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Because literally, I saw it was I can't remember what store it was in. It was like one of those Kit Kat bars.
Yeah.
It was like I don't know if it was 3-4 pounds. That thing was huge, and
right.
I'm like, good Lord, who's buying that and who's going to eat that?
It's beyond king size. I don't know what they call that. Emperor size.
Huge. It's MAGA huge.
It's Trump size.
It's Trump size. So. Speaking of Trump, I just saw the headline come up a few seconds ago. Looks like Laura Trump has stepped down as the co-chair of the RNC, which that signals to me that she may be the choice for the next senator of Florida, maybe appointed by DeSantis. So just kind of reading that writing through her message this morning over on X. But yeah, Fox just announced that a few seconds ago that she will be stepping down as co-chair of the RNC. What a hell of a job she did, though, during the campaign. But we are going to play some audio from Trump's very lengthy interview with Meet the Press yesterday. A lot of good audio clips from that. Also, the Daniel Penny trial. Big news from back on Friday involving that trial that's going to continue today as far as deliberations go on one of those counts. So we'll get into that. And also it was a very busy weekend around the area. Boy, there was all kind of Christmas events going on from the parade to peppermint pops to boy, the Bikers Unite for Children toy ride was successful again this year. You name it, it happened over the weekend. So I hope everybody had an opportunity to get out in the community and support some of these events, because like we said back on Friday, Charles, I know you'll echo an agreement on this. Yeah, I know we always focus on shootings and the violence and the problems we have here in Meridian, but still there was a lot of good to gather from the weekend.
No, it sure was. And you're right. I mean, I guess that's the what sells. There's bad news sells.
If it bleeds, it leads.
There you go. That's right. And but yes, it was a great turnout for the parade. I mean, a lot of folks downtown for that. Peppermint Pops was a sellout again, as it is always, and just a lot of folks enjoying downtown and really just kind of wandering around and having a good time. So it was great to see, and of course there were no incidents or anything like that. There rarely are downtown anyway. So all in all, a good weekend.
You had it started Thursday with the Sip and Shop, and of course you had the event over at the Max, Robert St. John, and of course
with the Eudora Welty screening.
Exactly, and then going into the weekend, you had the toy run and the parade and Peppermint Pops. I mean, just you name it, it was good. Mary Hope had some big things happening.
They did,
weekend,
yes.
So.
They did yesterday. I think they had kind of pictures with Santa and that sort of thing. So
Railroad Museum was busy with Mrs. Santa Claus. So it was just, you name it, it was happening over the weekend. So I hope you got a chance to take in some of that. And of course, another parade tonight. Philadelphia, our neighbors up to the north, having their Christmas parade later on this evening. So hopefully the rain will hold off for that big event tonight, because I know it was like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock this morning. It came an absolute flood at the house.
Is that right?
I mean, it was heavy rain.
So.
601-485-9191 is our number. And as we kick off the show this morning, folks, all these local advertisers that we talk about here on Mornings in Meridian, we encourage you to support them, because they support our program here and keep the lights on here at WALT and keep this local show going for you. And who's leading off the week here on the show?
Kicking it with Barber and Sons Plumbing. Been in business over 80 years. I think they invented indoor plumbing, conveniently located downtown, 1123 26th Avenue. You can give them a call at 601-482-7023. Every type of plumbing part available there. And what's great about Barber and Sons Plumbing is that if you're a do-it-yourself, or you bring the part down there, or even a picture of the broken part, and Gary will sell you the correct part, not the incorrect part, and also give you detailed instructions on how to repair it. So it's like a do-it-yourself class right there at Barber & Sons Plumbing. Of course, if you're not a do-it-yourselfer and you want them to come to your home or business, they're happy to do that as well. All you got to do is call 601-482-7023. Barber & Sons Plumbing, 1123 26th Avenue. Go see them.
And of course, a lot of developments with Syria over the weekend as well. We'll get into that coming up. So a lot of stuff here in the States and internationally as well. But Laura Trump, in her statement this morning about her stepping down as co-chair of the RNC, she is seriously considering that proposal to be the senator in Florida.
You think she's seriously considering it?
I think it's going to happen.
I think she's already said yes. I'm consulting with my family. I'm praying about it. I already said yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Of course.
I think
it will too.
Just from the timing of everything, because we're kind of getting, I wouldn't say late in the game. I mean, we're sitting here on December the 9th, and the inauguration day is almost a month away.
Yeah.
And of course, Rubio will go through that confirmation process for Secretary of State, and pretty much we'll probably get that.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because the inauguration is a month away, a little more, and it already seems like Trump is in power. I mean, he's meeting with all these world leaders. This is, and to me, and I don't recollect a transition that has happened
like this.
Yeah, before, where the, president-elect has already assumed the role of, especially on an international level, of going out and meeting with these leaders. It's extraordinary.
What was your feeling? I think it was back on Friday. He goes over to France and had the
little guy,
the handshake with Macron, and I mean, you just felt like, man, we're back.
Yeah.
As far as on the world stage, if there actually being someone competent on the world stage. Of course, he attended the, reopening of Notre Dame over there, because they had the big fire. And of course, they had said, we're going to get this thing rebuilt by 2024. Well, they got it done. So they had the big reopening, and Trump was there for that. And it just, the handshake, he went up and just kind of crushed his hand. And I was just kind of like, man, there's Trump doing his Trump-like things again. So.
Yeah, and I think that, a lot of world leaders disparaged Trump. I mean, certainly during the election, talked about, how dangerous he can be and, kind of a lot of the left narrative. They just kind of repeated that. But now we see that, Mr. Trump, sir, welcome to France.
Well, how are you, sir?
It's so nice to see you. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of changing their tune. And I think that they realize that he wields a lot of power and will wield that power. The United States wields the power, really, but Trump is going to use that for our advantage, and as well it should be. And I think that that's you're right, there is a certain level of respect. If they don't respect the man, which I think they probably do, although politically it's expedient for them to tell their constituents that they don't support what he does. He's a bad man, because that's what I think a lot of people in Europe believe. But I think that it shows that they do respect him and do respect the office and what he represents and what kind of power he will wield. And that's, of course, with the backing of the United States. And that's who we are as a nation.
There has not been a whole lot of public appearances by Trump since the election. I know he was at the Patriot Awards back on Thursday night. We played most of his speech on Friday on the program. But he finally did, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was the first sit-down interview that he had since winning the election. He sat down with, of all people, NBC's Meet the Press yesterday, which obviously a lot of folks are a little surprised by that as far as a one-on-one interview goes. But I've got a lot of audio clips if you want to hear some of those.
Yeah.
The first one I've got here, he went through a lot of different things on this interview yesterday. It was a one-on-one interview, but the first portion I want to play here is about January 6th. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about pardons, and of course, the Hunter Biden.
Oh, Hunter.
Yeah, the Hunter Biden pardon. Yes. But Donald Trump on Liz Cheney, Benny Thompson, Mississippi's own, mentioned in here, and members of the January 6th committee. And talked about how they should go to jail.
Wow.
So, this is a portion of that interview from yesterday on Meet the Press.
Some of this new reporting. NBC News is reporting that President Biden is considering giving preemptive pardons to the likes of Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, and Anthony Fauci. If President Biden doesn't issue those pardons, do you think they are going to wish that he had? Are they going to be pursued?
I can tell you this about Cheney, and she's a so-called Republican. I think she hurt the Democrats terribly. When I saw that Kamala put Cheney out on the campaign trail, I said, that's the end of Kamala. I really did. I thought it was a terrible move, especially if you're a Democrat. But Cheney did something that's inexcusable, along with Thompson and the people on the Unselect Committee of political thugs and, creeps. So the Unselect Committee went through a year and a half of testimony. Wait, they deleted and destroyed all evidence of that they found. You know why? Because Nancy Pelosi was guilty. Nancy Pelosi turned down 10,000 troops. You wouldn't have had a J6 because other people were guilty. The people that said that I attacked 2 Secret Service agents in a car. I grabbed one around the neck. I was then rebuffed and I grabbed the other one. These are 2 of the toughest men anywhere on the planet. They happen to be slightly younger than me, maybe, just a little bit. Let me just tell you. They testified. They said it was total. And listen, this was a committee, a big deal. They lied. And what did they do? They deleted and destroyed a whole year and a half worth of testimony. Do you know that I think those people committed a major crime.
Sir.
And Cheney was behind it. And so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee. For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
So there you go. That was a portion of the interview yesterday where Mr. Trump had to be booped.
Right. Love it. Beat him out.
So what do you think about that, January? Of course, there's a lot of...
should go to jail, so I don't think that there's a real threat there. I think he's just saying that what they did was criminal. I don't know.
And of course, I think, she started out with the asking about the pardons because, Fauci's name has been brought up, Adam Schiff and others. And now what's going to be the reaction when he takes office? And it's going to happen. The folks that are in jail right now, the insurrection,
Yeah.
they're probably going to be pardoned. So what's going to be the media and the left's reaction when that happens? Because we know it's going to happen. So.
Well, what something that was extraordinary was said to she asked the question, a preemptive pardon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? They hadn't been charged with anything.
Yeah.
But it's basically what you're saying is that person's immune from prosecution. Now, very similar to what he did with Hunter.
Yeah.
Just to say, I don't know what he did. Well, he probably does know what he did. He being Joe. But I'm going to pardon him for everything that he may have done in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So a preemptive pardon the same way. I mean, come on. You don't even know what the crimes are. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's what concerns me more than anything else. But
Benny Thompson
it
mentioned
is
twice
interesting.
yesterday.
Yes. And I think there needs to be an investigation. I don't think that, that we need, some kind of witch hunt. But I think that if something was done incorrectly, then we need to examine that. And I think we need to hold people's feet to the fire. And I think that, as I said last week, anybody, Republican or Democrat, who's been using these insider trading, anything like that's unethical, we need to go after that. We need to clean up this government.
And that's why I'm glad to see Doge coming in.
Exactly.
I hope they do that on both sides. We can only hope. So let's go back to the phone line. First call of the week, 485-9191. Hey, caller, welcome in. Hello, caller. Hello. Good morning.
Y'all got me?
We got you. Hello.
Hollering about pardoning the January 6th riders.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares? First of all, we quit caring about anything. There was a statement made one time, elections have consequences. Y'all remember that statement?
You sure do.
Remember who said it? B-Rock Obama.
That's right. Exactly.
B-Rock Hussein Obama. So elections have consequences. We're going to play our rules. That woman in that interview also said, well, you're going to open up a January 6th and commission and go into all that. It was never closed. The Democrats have never closed those interrogations. It's ongoing from now on. They're trying to put everybody they can in jail. So Trump ain't going to have to open it up. It's already opened up, but we're going to start investigating the other side. We're going to play by the rules that the Democrats play by, which has nothing to do with fairness. Forget it. No, we're going to do y'all like y'all did Trump for 8 years, how long y'all been persecuted. It's not prosecuting, it's persecuting. So we're going to play by the same rules that y'all play by. And guys over there, when he was in France, not the handshake wasn't the biggest deal over there, but when he walked away from foreign leaders and everything to go shake the hands of all of our military soldiers. Y'all see that?
Oh yeah. Sure did.
Every one of them. That was, that's a great leader. That is a great leader. He put our American soldiers over all those big, important dignitaries and everything else to take time out to go over and shake each one of them's hands. So we don't care what y'all say. We don't care what y'all like. Why he would even go on that liberal show. I guess he just goes on and tell them it's going to be his way or the highway. Maybe that's what he was doing, telling them. But we're going to, no one's, and what's all this stuff about, did Fauci break the law, guys?
I don't know why all of a sudden his name is being brought up so much. I think maybe that little commission report that came out last week about how COVID was born in a lab in China. And that we were giving tax dollars to some of those programs, and
those programs that was covered up under Biden, went hush hush. That we had supported COVID experimentation and all that, and helped to make it. And then the big support of the World Health Organization, which I hope one of Trump's first things is pull any support away from them. They were more worried about making China look good and help China cover up what they did and say it come from a bat in the market over there instead of where it actually came from. So, Schiff has broke the law. We're going, all this stuff about pardon. But I just remember a time when Biden, everything come out of his mouth. No one is above the law.
Oh yeah.
No one is above the law. And I sure would like to drive across the state over and be sitting in the Benny Thompson's yard when they would go up there and drag him out and arrest him for all the things he's done.
I'm sure the media will be there.
Yeah. Good old Benny.
Yeah, let's go over and watch that the day that happens, guys. But anyway, all right, well, listen, guys.
All right, appreciate it.
Interesting. He said, well, has there been a crime committed by Fauci? Well, if they're going to do, if there's even a preemptive pardon on the table, obviously they know that he has committed crimes. So they're well aware of the crimes that he's done. And so it's, why would you even mention that?
Yeah, it's funny, like I said, how the dominoes begin to drop when you have that commission report come out. What was it? It's been about a week ago, where the virus was man-made in a lab,
right?
Not in a wet market, and that gain of function research was funded by tax dollars from you, the U.S. taxpayer. And Fauci sat up there under oath.
Right.
And lied.
And knew it. Yeah. I mean, he knew exactly. He knew that everybody else knew as well. I mean, come on. And we've been saying that for, however many years now.
And I asked the question back on Thursday. I think I mentioned it Friday too. Is like, how much money did Dr. Fauci make during this pandemic? I mean, I would love to know the dollar amount. I mean, I think it's a fair question. So, but his name is all of a sudden being brought up again. Dr. Fauci.
He'll never go away.
Has the worst first pitch of a person I've ever seen in my life. Remember that when he threw the first ball out at the Nationals game? I mean, he hit the mascot or something like that. It was just awful. Just picking on a guy. But anyway, we're gonna take a break. I know it's so mean. 601-485-9191. We'll be back. A little Sanford and Son coming back in. Of course, he was born on this day, and he would have been 102 today. Red Fox, Sanford and Son, of course, just one of his many roles there on TV and film. So, Red Fox.
Yeah, that's the one you know him for.
It's the big one.
Yeah.
It's the big one. So. But yeah, he would have been celebrating a birthday today. Other birthdays on the list, folks that are still with us. Bo Bridges is 83 today.
Mm-hmm.
Judi Dench, of course, she was in a few of those Bond movies, well, the most recent ones.
Yeah.
She is 90 today. Felicity Huffman from Desperate Housewives and a couple other movies. She's 62. She's been married to William H. Macy since 1997. So
Wow.
a lot of those Hollywood marriages usually don't last.
Really?
So John Malkovich, he's kind of been in some weird roles over the years. 71 today. The late Kirk Douglas was born on this day back in 1916, and he lived a long life. He passed away back in 2020.
Wow.
So, of course, remember him from Spartacus and a lot of other big movies. And I believe that's all the notable names I got on the list there. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the late Dick Van Patten would have been 96 today. So there you go. If you're celebrating a birthday, also Donny Osmond, 67 today.
Oh, he was dead too.
You even asked that question during the break.
I was like, man,
So
I know you're still alive.
there you go.
Old Donnie.
There you go. So if
All
you're
right.
celebrating a birthday here on the 9th day of December, happy birthday to you. And what does Roger always say? Go out and get yourself something nice. And folks, you're going to need them from time to time, and you can make that order locally with Billy Adam Calvert and his awesome staff down at Southern Business Supply.
That's right. You can go by and see them at their showroom, 5685 Dale Drive. They've got all kinds of office furniture and home office furniture there, desks, chairs, filing cabinets, all that good stuff. Of course, if you just need pens, pencils, staplers, any of that, you just go to southernbusinesssupply.com and click, and it is delivered next day to your home or office. Can't beat that. And, of course, their showroom is open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. You can call them as well, 601-485-2447. But what I do is go to southernbusinesssupply.com, order all of my supplies, and like magic, they are delivered the next day. Can't beat it. Of course, they're family-owned and operated, have been for 38 years. When you buy local, your money stays here. And say no to the big box stores and say yes to southernbusinesssupply.com.
I know we got a caller on the line. Caller, hang on just one more second here. I wanted to play one more clip before we got to that call. Some more of the audio from the Meet the Press interview yesterday. Donald Trump talked about birthright citizenship. Of course, deportation, that's a big hot topic right now. And this was the clip discussing that particular issue from Meet the Press yesterday.
You about some of your other promises on this topic. You've promised to end birthright citizenship on day one. Is that still your plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 14th Amendment, though, says that, quote, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Can you get around the 14th Amendment with an executive act?
Audio's kind of
We'll
buffering.
maybe have to go back to the people, but we have to
go back to the people. So I'm not going to play any more audio. We're going to have a little buffer issue there with Meet the Press. But yeah, he basically said we're going to have to get it changed. We have to end it. We're the only country that has it, talking about birthright citizenship. So, yeah.
I don't know that that's true. I don't know that we're the only country that has that.
Yeah, that's what he said in that particular soundbite yesterday. And of course, they went on to talk about his deportation plans, and basically he says starts with the criminals is where this is all going to start with. And then he went on to say a blanket statement. We're going to send everybody back. So, but of course, talked about Tom Homan too, and the job he's going to do as the border czar. So that was a big topic of conversation yesterday in that Meet the Press interview. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
MAGA morning to American patriots.
What
MAGA, MAGA, MAGA.
We got to come up with a verse.
I can't wait till Trump gets in there. I hope he goes in there with vengeance in his heart. Investigate everybody up there.
We got to come up with a verse to MAGA, MAGA, MAGA.
You got the chorus down.
Yeah, the chorus. Yeah, we got the chorus. We got to come with the verse.
There you go. We can do that.
We gave
I'm worried.
Assignment America.
Absolutely, but he needs to go in there and investigate the Biden family, Inc., and everybody else up there. You know, we need to get back to the McCarthy era. Old Tail Gunner Joe and the McCarthy era of the Council on Un-American Activities. That's what needs to be investigated. And these illegal alien criminal invaders, there should be no birthright citizenship. Canada dealt with that. The Chinese were coming up there dropping babies and claiming citizenship. I think they ended theirs. If you're illegal, what makes something come out of you legal? That should have been done away before the 20th century. We've got to get to a point of order in this country where things work like they're supposed to work. You know, the criminal justice system and all the above. And people have the power. They just need to exercise that power. It's just like going to a store. You go to a store, you don't like the service, but don't go back. You've got that option. Just like radio, television. They're not reporting the true news. They're giving you a flim-flam, a jibber-jabber type view of the news. Turn it off. Turn to another station. You've got plenty of options now. And, you know, these companies wonder why they're not relevant anymore. You know, like WTOK, because you're not reporting the truth. You're not reporting what the citizens want to hear about, what they want to know.
Has
like Meridian Star
real quick. I don't know if you heard the audio clip we played. The reporter there for Meet the Press talked about the 14th Amendment, and Charles so diligently has his own pocket constitution. What a good American you are.
Thank you.
The 14th Amendment. What does it say?
Well, it was ratified July 9th, 1868. But Section 1 of the 14th Amendment says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. And it goes on from there. But
that's the basic nuts and bolts of the 14th Amendment.
Relevant statement right there.
You got to look at the time period, too, right after the Civil War. There's a lot changed since then.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever makes America better, greater, and safer for its real citizens is what we need to do, just like this city right here.
Well, and that's fair enough, but it would require a constitutional amendment. I mean, that's what
exactly
the Constitution's pretty clear about that. So, but yeah, I think that the people that come over here.
What's the alternative? Not to do anything like they're doing here in Meridian? Just let it go?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there needs to be some sort of reasonable, people who come over the border just to have a baby here, just to have the rights of citizenship. Obviously, that's what we need to prevent. I don't know how you would word that and how you would make that, obviously it would be an amendment, but anybody who's just doing it for that express purpose, that's not right. And we know that. And I don't think they should be granted those rights. However, the Constitution, as it reads now, does guarantee that. So, that's just the facts that we have right now.
Yeah.
The situation.
And, here, I think it was Saturday, they had another murder. What is this, number 14 now?
I believe that's right.
Yeah. They're talking about the
gunshot.
And this little burg of a village here. Okay, that's pretty dramatic. But there again, it seems that evidently it must just be the status quo. The powers to be must just say, well, hey, this is just the way it is and deal with it. Because, I don't see anything proactive happening. And it's the same scenario all the time. Just like Jackson, just like these other cities. But no, nothing will ever get done because people have become complacent. They're apathetic. They basically have unloaded. They just let it go. And you still have the power. If you don't think you're getting the truth, turn the station. Get another TV station. Get something that will give you the facts. But no, WTOK, Meridian Star, none of that mess is relevant anymore. No, they report on the stories that they want the people to hear and see, and hold a fuzzy little puppy, and everything is wonderful. But they don't tell the damn truth. Now, Scotty Ray, he's there when the brass is still warm, the body's not even cold, smoke's still in the air. He's a one-man band. If he can do that, why is WTOK not doing that? The crime stats, the shootings, and all this other is what the people are concerned with. They're not concerned with some other Mickey Mouse crap. No. And for Meridian to have the crime it has and the shootings and the murder rate, and yet nothing will ever be done. But I hope Trump, when he gets in office, clear the ground for miles around. And anybody, all them people that was on that Russia illusion of collusion and everybody else, investigate everybody, every demon cat up there, and take them down. And the lies Fauci told the American people, and Biden that was involved in the COVID deal, make them pay. Make them pay. Get over that love and forgiveness and kumbaya crap, because it will not work in a real world. Roger that.
There we go. Heard from the Has this morning. And, you go back and you look at it, and that's the reason I wanted you to read the 14th Amendment, is because it is going to be interesting going ahead to see how that process is dealt with. I agree. The criminals that have crossed this border, they need to go. Yeah. They need to figure that out first.
That's the first.
I think this other stuff with birth, that's a very complex issue. When you read, and I know that's an amendment that was 1868 that was ratified.
Right.
So that's going to be tough as far as the Constitution, the way it reads right now.
Well, I don't think that that's the priority. I think that that's obviously a concern, but I think, as you said, let's get the criminals out of here. If you have any MS-13 or any other the Central American gang affiliation, if you got the tats, even if you hadn't been a member for the last 10 years, I don't care. You're out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Immediately get rid of those people. We have to have some kind of standard that we say you can't come in, and you are leaving. But for those who were born here, I think obviously we have to recognize that we can't go retroactive and say, okay, if that's since 1970, if you were born here, then you're no longer a citizen.
And I get the feeling that has about the about all these folks who need to be looked into and investigated. Sure. And this is going to sound a little different than what you usually hear from me, but if we focus solely on that, then you're taking your eye off of the ball completely, and that's doing what you promised the American people, and that's to try to fix this economy, try to fix the border, to try to fix all these other issues that have just been broken for the last. And I agree, these folks need to be investigated. Don't get me wrong, but you have another opportunity. You have the presidency, a slim majority in the House, and you got the Senate as well. What are you going to ultimately do with it? Are you just going to investigate out the wazoo like the Democrats did, or are you actually going to do great things like, hey, policy to try to change things in this country? So it's really, is it going to be a term of vengeance, or is it going to be a term of change?
Well, and I think, vengeance, I don't think should be the answer at all. And I think it's very tempting based on the prosecution.
And I don't blame Trump. They have gone after him like crap. And I understand, but what's going to be the priority here going ahead?
I think it needs to be to root out the corruption. And that's the key, is get rid of the people. And I said it before, Republican or Democrat, who are corrupt. Get rid of those people. Close the border. Let's stop the stem right now, or January 20th, we'll stop that. And then root out those who are criminals. And then, I don't see why we don't look at a case-by-case basis. If we got people who are being productive in this country and who are working here, then, we can look at that instead of sending them all home. I mean, let's look at a case by case. We can do that. We've got the manpower to do it. Shoot, we had 86,000 IRS agents we were going to hire. Let's turn those into,
and the thing about it is the immigration deal, this just is not something that started overnight. This has been brewing, not just during this term of Biden, but terms before him. It just got a lot worse under this particular term. Just the blatant absurdity of it all.
Sure.
And this may go deeper than the actual DC swamp does, this particular issue. Yeah. So, because boy, dealing with it I agree, dealing with it by case basis, and how many of those cases are there? A ton of them.
Yes, there are a lot of them.
So let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Hey, appreciate you taking my call.
Yes, sir.
On the immigration front, I wish we could get to a mindset of thinking that we don't need any immigrants to make our country run. I don't know how we got it. I think it was just drilled into us over the last 40, 50 years that we have to have somehow a constant flow of migrants. And I mean from all over the world. We have to have them, or else our country just can't function. How did we get such low self-esteem that we don't believe that just as Americans on our own with zero, I'm not talking about stop just illegal immigration. Why can't we stop all of it? I mean, we're to the breaking point on all our social services. I mean, our schools, our hospitals, I mean, welfare. We can't hardly stand to take care of the people we've got. People are living on the streets, but yet we feel the need to constantly, continually bring more people in the country. Why do we do that?
You know, I tell you one thing, it's a lot of folks here in America have gotten very lazy, and they don't want to work for that American dream anymore. They want it to be handed to them. And a lot of these immigrants, they come over here and they work their tail off for very little money and get a lot of jobs. And it's maybe most times it's the lower intermediate jobs, but still they work hard when they get here. Most of them, not all of them, most of them.
Well, and I get that, and I hear that a lot. And so if we're saying that we're willing to sacrifice our culture, we're willing to sacrifice our cities and we have a constant flow of illegals and legals coming in so that they end up replacing the natives, and we're doing that all so we can have cheap lawn care and a guy that's the cheapest rate to hang sheetrock, or the cheapest rate to go pick strawberries or whatever. Are we really there again? How much innovation could have come about if rather than saying, hey, let's just constantly flow in mass labor, maybe we start figuring out newer, better ways to do that. In other words, we existed as a country for years, hundreds of years, without needing just this constant flow of people. And I know migration has always been there, but not like we have it now. And I just wish as a people we could have a little more self-esteem to say, hey, we can run this country without tens of thousands of migrants steadily flowing in. I believe we can.
Yeah, and having a better self-esteem and more pride in our country and what we can do as citizens of the United States.
Well, and I think that traditionally we have always accepted immigrants because we're the new world, and so that's our legacy of 250 years or longer. And so I think that's our mindset, because that's just the way that we are, instead of kind of looking at it objectively and saying why. Yeah. Why do we need these people, and why are we inviting and we do have a lot of legal immigrants as well, but why are we even allowing those in? I think that's a good question. We don't really look at that, because we just assume that because we've always done it, that's the way to operate.
Well, and part of the reason, immigration kind of naturally checked itself when there was no handouts. When there's no handout, what's the purpose for somebody coming over here if they show up and get nothing? Then you truly do get just ones who are willing to scrap and fight for something.
The opportunity is what the motivation is.
Well, and the ones I feel bad for, and I know two individuals, they just came off the top of my head right here, that have gone through the process of becoming, they have come over here legally, gone through the process, and they are proud. They took that oath and they were like, hey, I'm now a U.S. citizen, and they are proud to be here. And they say, I look at the situation on the border, I'm like, Really? All of the work that and folks, it's not an easy process.
And it's not cheap.
And it's not cheap.
Yeah.
And then you see what's happening on the board. It should infuriate every last one of those folks.
I'm going to tell this story and I'm going to get off. I met two men, young men, in the parking lot of my store, and both of them were from Central Africa. They had both been brought here through a program of the United States. In other words, we went and recruited these two young men, paid them, and brought them here. Not because they were bright and shining examples of their country. They were just here driving trucks. They weren't anything that, you know, and the man told me, this Central African young man, probably in his 20s, told me that the program was a diversity program. That was the program that he was brought over. So our country, we have such low self-esteem as a people. I thought we were pretty diverse here in Meridian, Mississippi, but apparently we weren't diverse enough that our own country had to go and spend money, recruit these guys, fly them in, put them in a city, give them temporary assistance till they could get on their feet so that they could just be another citizen here. And even though they may just have temporary status, just be another mouth to feed. You know, taking truck driving jobs that the natives could have had.
Yeah.
And our own government did that to us. And I'm sick to death of it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Y'all
amazing.
have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Appreciate that. Wow.
Interesting story.
Yeah. But that goes back to what you were talking about earlier. We've said that several times, the waste.
Yeah.
Not just look at these type of programs.
Right. What's
It's
the
like
point of that?
It's like, what is the point of that?
Yeah.
I mean,
let's recruit the brilliant scientists, the
Yeah,
doctors,
yeah,
all of those
yeah.
people. But anyway, okay.
All right, we got a couple minutes for the top of the hour in Fox News. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Hey, good. Hey, I wholeheartedly agree with that gentleman before me and the one before him with WTOK. They are the fake news of Meridian, Mississippi, as far as I'm concerned. But they really don't tell us nothing. I have a brother-in-law in California. He gets more of what's happening around here than we do local. It's just amazing how that we don't get any. We're not informed.
How does he get that information? Sorry.
I don't know how he get it, but whenever we talk to him, he heard about stuff, and we didn't realize it, and then we'll go and check, and he's absolutely right. That did happen. Someone got shot or whatever, and we didn't hear nothing locally. And even with our radio, not our commercial radios, but even some of our social media radio, whatever's going on, they started out good. But now they've slackened up on what they actually started on in the beginning. So we're getting less of real local information that we really need. And listen, I turned 73, and I can remember when we were looking for jobs at the employment office, the buses and the van used to come different seasons, and we would go do oranges, apples, tobacco or whatever, but they ended, and we would always have a lot of people going. They stopped coming. So and then the next thing we know, there go the green card people are coming in. But there was volunteers every year going to those different places to do farm work. So I agree with that gentleman. There's something that's very wrong with this system about immigration and bringing people in. It really is. So we just need to get to the bottom of it. And
That's
know, John Pierre used to say, well, we got a broken immigration system. Well, what does a broken immigration system have to do with people running and dashing across the border?
Right.
To do with immigration.
Yeah.
That's an invasion.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, my man, we got to run. Here we got Fox News, but hey, be safe out there.
All right, y'all have a great day.
All right.
In.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. All right, welcome back in. Mornings in Meridian here on this Monday morning, December the 9th. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. A lot going on all across East Mississippi and West Alabama over the weekend, from Christmas parades to other events. Hope you had a chance to take in some of that. Our number is 601-485-9191. Of course, online, WALTmeridian.com, Facebook Live, YouTube, and, of course, that mobile app. Wherever you go around the world, you can download that app, and you're ready to roll. So, got Rob and Charles Frazier in this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Pretty good conversation toward the tail end of the hour there, talking about immigration and the birthright citizenship and other issues going on. So we'll get into more of that discussion coming up. But first, we got a phone call on the line. Hey, caller, welcome into the show.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I would like to ask our citizens to request the Senate to have an up or down vote on Pete Hegseth and make it public record that we know who voted. And if our senators aren't supporting, let's move them on to do something else. We need people to get in there and support the president.
I totally agree. I think everything needs to be on record for everything they do up there.
Well, McConnell and them did that secret thing here a while back. It's not right. Hold their feet to the fire.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we appreciate you listening out there this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think he's referencing to the when they had the Senate leadership or who was going to replace McConnell as Senate leader. They had a secret ballot.
It's top secret.
Yeah,
everything should be out in the open.
Yeah, because it was Rick Scott and a couple other guys. Of course, the senator from South Dakota ended up getting the nod there. But yeah, everything needs to be put out in the public.
Well, and even if it's not during the process, because there's some sort of, you want to have, I guess, some sense of anonymity because you don't want to maybe be influenced, so they don't know who voted which way. But once those votes are tallied and the decision has been made, then release who voted which way. Yeah. That way we, as the constituents, know how they voted. And you say, wait a minute. Yeah, I can call that guy because I don't agree.
Yeah, because it was Senator Thune from South Dakota who got the leadership role there. Right. But yeah, we needed to see the final who voted on that. Exactly. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning. I just want to hear something on the lighter side today. I just want to know what the Alabama fan thought because Alabama didn't make the playoffs.
Well, you need to watch your mouth over there. What you talking about?
Yes, indeed. That was some interesting news. And
all right, appreciate it, caller. All right, I think we lost him there.
So, yeah, kind of had that radio.
Oh, what are you talking about? I tried to Tuscaloosa 10 in the building.
Now, did you watch that ACC championship game?
I did actually.
Ooh, that was pretty exciting, but I figured
let's talk about that real quick.
And they had and the pundits had all said if it's a close game, if Clemson wins and SMU keeps it close, then that's the most likely outcome is that SMU would get a bid or whatever you want to call that, place in the championship, and Alabama would be knocked out. And that's exactly what happened. So, it was close enough to be competitive. Very competitive right to the last second when Clemson won it.
And we were actually out in town yesterday, and I was like, oh, they're about to pick the 12. So I pulled up my phone. I was like, all right, let's see who's going to be the 12. And when it got down to that last spot, it was probably going to be between, obviously, SMU and Alabama. And I see the gripe of Ole Miss as well. There's a gripe there as well.
No doubt.
But
South Carolina.
So, but I was like, you just kind of felt like it was probably going to be Alabama. But then when SMU was selected, I was like, wow, look at that. Because I guess just for so many years, I guess we've been under the assumption it's always going to go that way, but they went a different route and picked SMU over Alabama. So Alabama will play in the Reliquist Bowl.
Yeah.
That's going to be a New Year's Eve bowl against Michigan now. And, of course, Ole Miss is going to be in the Gator Bowl, I believe, right around that same time or a little after against Duke. But yeah, it was very interesting to see how that all kind of unfolded over the weekend.
And I really think that the deciding factor when you factor in everything is the Oklahoma loss.
Well,
that it was so bad. It wasn't even close. And Oklahoma's not a very competitive team.
I see all I've seen all the coaches do their, lobbying, Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer, everybody doing their lobbying over the last several days for their team. And of course, you're going to do that as the head coach of your program. Here's a simple solution. Don't lose those games.
Exactly. Right.
Don't lose 24-3 to Oklahoma. Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
Don't lose to a 4-7 or 4-8 Kentucky team, Lane Kiffin.
Right. Well, Vandy too.
South Carolina, don't lose to Ole Miss by 3 or 4 touchdowns at home.
Yeah.
So, and then you go back and you look at some of the other losses for Alabama. You lost to a 6-6 Vanderbilt team. Then you lose to who was the other loss to? Tennessee, which that's not a bad loss. I mean, they're in the final 12 there. But then when you look at Ole Miss, they lost to LSU last second play in overtime there in Baton Rouge, which that could happen to anybody.
Sure,
obviously. And then you lose the next to last game of the season on the road at a barely 500 Florida team. So,
although a resurging Florida team, and they certainly had a good second half.
But
the
two losses for Ole Miss and Alabama, the loss to Kentucky for Ole Miss, and then that loss to Oklahoma 24-3.
Yeah,
those were pretty bad.
They were.
And don't get me wrong, Ole Miss and Alabama, I still think play in the toughest conference in America. But the way the criteria goes this year with this playoff 12, I think we're all trying to get used to it, and that's kind of the way the chips fell.
How you feel about
yesterday.
Miami?
I'm fine with it.
Really?
Okay. Well, they didn't play in the conference. Well, 2 losses. And
they didn't play in the conference championship.
Well, and they lost to Syracuse and Georgia Tech, and their strength of schedule was pretty weak.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
And but they won the games.
They won the 10 games. You know, they.
I think
that's all you can ask.
What left them out was probably not playing in a conference title game.
Yeah.
So they did weigh some of
Tennessee,
that.
Of course, they had one loss. I think
2.
Is that right? They had 2. Yeah.
They had 2. So
2, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I think now we know what the criteria is like going ahead.
We know for this year.
At least. So, but and of course, everybody can complain all they want to about it, but it is what it is.
I love that there were complaints when there were 4 teams.
Oh yeah, they're going to complain all day long.
I think it expanded to 64, and there would still be complaints.
And I'm getting texts right now. People still griping about it.
It ain't right.
Win the games you're supposed to win.
Yeah. And
you won't have a gripe about it. And the bottom line is, it is what it is. There's always going to be. It's just like in the NCAA basketball tournament.
Sure.
You're going to have the bubble teams. If you expand to 16, guess what? 17, 18 are going to gripe.
Exactly.
Then you expand it out to 25, 26, 27 are going to gripe. It is what it is.
You're right about that.
So,
yep.
601-485-9191 is our number. Hey, let's thank our friends up in Philadelphia, Doc's Toyota.
That's right. Go up to Doc's and then check out the parade in Philadelphia tonight. Of course, Doc's has all kinds of 2025 Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, Highlanders, Priuses, Prii, and of course that good-looking Land Cruiser as well. And they have a very large, some might say huge, selection of pre-owned inventory, all been through the rigorous multi-point Toyota inspection process, so you know you're getting a good quality used vehicle. Now you can shop online at docstoyota.com or just take that short drive up to Philadelphia and see them on Highway 16 West. And their service department is second to none. You need your vehicle service, take it on up to Doc's. They got the best in the area. Go see him on Highway 16 West or check him out online, docstoyota.com. Every dealership has a deal. Some of them get an air fryer toaster. You might get a free Christmas tree. Who knows? Well, I'll tell you what, there is
no deal like a Doc's deal. It looks like deliberations are going to continue, I believe, in less than an hour on this whole Daniel Penny trial up in New York.
That's debacle.
So they throw out the manslaughter trial or the manslaughter charge rather.
Right.
And now they're still going to go after the negligent homicide.
They're going to try to make it easier for the jury to convict. Well, if you want to do that one, how about this? Would you try that instead?
Can we say agenda?
Well, I think that it's still going to be a hung jury. I think
so.
Yeah, and that's the problem is they're trying to avoid that. But I mean, it just seems really, I don't know if there's a legal precedent for a judge saying that.
Well, you've talked about this before. If he would have been found guilty on the manslaughter trial, that would have set a very dangerous precedent in New York and other these big cities when you have someone take matters into their own hands.
Of course. So, right. It pretty much hamstrings everybody. You say, we can't intervene, and there is a law that reasonable people must intervene in a certain crime. That you there and not do anything.
Sure.
I think that there's some negligence there, but I mean, to not take action when somebody is on the subway threatening to kill people, saying he doesn't care if he goes to jail, especially with the recent incidents that have occurred on the subways and throughout New York. I mean, I think what he did was reasonable. And I think we all recognize that. And, was there excessive force? Did he hold the chokehold too long? All that is the evidence that's in the trial, the nitty gritty of it. And I'm not sure how that goes. But
and as of Friday, too, the father of the deceased, this homeless person who was out on his own, is now going to sue.
This is a civil suit, of course.
Civil suit. I'm like, where were you at for your son if he was living out on the street and this? So anyway, just asking that question
for the potential earnings that he has lost.
Yeah, see opportunity there.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
How much does a crazy make these days walking the subway streets in New York? How would you set that value?
I asked that. When I saw that come down on Friday, Chuck, I was like, so you're going to sue this guy, and what kind of relationship did you actually have with your son if he was out living on the streets and he had all kind of issues going on? I mean, really?
If he was so concerned about him, why wasn't he trying to get some help with him? And
bingo.
Y'all know all the mass murderers. A lot of them. There's so many red flags that were thrown up, and the FBI and law agencies didn't do anything about it. And the next thing you know, we have a mass murder. So this guy was throwing up flags. And a brave individual did something about it. And they won't tell me this guy's racist. I guarantee you it wouldn't have mattered to that ex-Marine if that guy was purple, green, orange, or white. Or white. Had he did what he did, that Marine, the just instilled in him, or most normal people, if you can protect other people and help other people, you're going to do it. You're going to do it.
Wow.
This crazy. Could you imagine your wife and child being on that and with this crazy tell him he was going to kill everybody on there? What would you do? What would you do? So hopefully they'll come to their senses and then offer the. There's some up there that wants to convict him. Hopefully it'll be a hung jury and he'll get to go on his way. But we'll see how that turns out. Guys, are the best 12 teams in the playoffs? Of course not. Are the best 12 teams in America, football teams, college football teams, are they in the playoffs? No. This whole election process of the 12 best teams is so flawed. I didn't like it to begin with.
What is the solution, Chuck? What's the solution?
First of all, you do away with this conference championship mess. Okay. You don't get to go in just because you won a week conference playing girls junior college teams or something like that. That's not it.
Okay.
The strength of schedule has got to be the main focus on picking your 12 best teams.
And that does include that includes non-conference schedule as well, right?
Non-conference schedules, all that fine. But by the time any team goes through the SEC, their strength of schedule is a matchup with anybody. And everybody's going to say, well, you're just for the SEC. Well, do I believe that Ole Miss and Alabama and South Carolina could kick Arizona, Indiana, and Boise State and SMU's tail? I sure do. That's 4 teams that shouldn't be anywhere near a playoff or anywhere near what's called the.
But why did Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina not get in?
They're playing each other. They play in the SEC schedule. You will eat your own. You're going to lose games to playing in the SEC to other SEC schools. So there's going to be some losses, but that don't mean that they're not one of the 12 best teams in the country. So there we are. So they're going to have to do away with this conference. Automatically winning your conference gets you in the and not if your purpose really is to pick the 12 best teams, it's not to pick a conference champion and say you're going to get to play in the playoffs.
Well,
you're weaker than all the other 12
I will
teams
say this, no matter what process they come up with, there's always going to be some issue with any kind of process they come up with, because when we had the BCS, there was a problem. We had the playoff 4, there was a problem. The AP voting, there was a problem. There's been a problem with every system at every level of sports. So it's always going to be an issue.
But I also don't think Texas or Tennessee is going to win it all.
No.
So
you could have 153. There's 154 Division One. I think it's 154. You could have 153 in the playoffs, and State would still be griping about not getting in.
Beat Kentucky, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. But you have to agree, win your games.
Y'all didn't want to laugh at that. That was good. That's funny. I don't care who you are now. That's funny, right?
But bottom line is,
win
your games, and you don't have to worry about it.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So case closed.
But I don't know. But still gotta look at having the best 12 teams in there if that's what your purpose is. Now they when there was just 4 teams, guess what? How many years did they get it wrong? How many times did the best team in the country not win it all? Every one of them. The best team won. We're just picking 4 teams. Now there were some years that Notre Dame shouldn't have been anywhere close to those 4, but they played politics those years, and they put Notre Dame. They love to put Notre Dame in there, even though they play one of them little weak schedules they play. They don't play anybody. But other than that, every year, Ohio State won it, Michigan won it, Alabama won it, LSU won it, Clemson won it. The best teams in the country won. We didn't need these 12 teams. And now they want to go to 16 or 18. They do that, then teams 19 through 20 are going to be griping.
Exactly.
Anyway,
exactly. It just continues to go on. So
that's right. All right, guys. Thanks.
Yep.
It is what it is, folks. The world's not falling in. I mean, I know a lot of these schools spend a inordinate amount of money on rosters, and they're just going to go to a good old bowl game. So there's a lot of folks that are upset about that too, because a lot of these rosters, let's be honest here, they were purchased.
They were, and maybe one and done on some of them,
and they've got nothing to show for it but going to a bowl game. And how many of those kids that were bought and paid for since the new NIL rules are there are not even going to play in the bowl game?
Yeah. Don't want to get hurt. I don't blame them.
Yeah. We didn't come here for going to a bowl game.
Okay. They went there to make money and then to make more money in the NFL.
Bingo. It's not about championships anymore. It's about money.
Right.
So,
or is it about the school? I mean, it's all about the money,
Yeah.
I don't care if I wear red or blue or green or whatever. Just pay me the money.
I just love going to school here. I love it.
It's all about the green, isn't it?
Sure. How much is in that back wallet there? That goes for every school out there. So that's the way it is now. So
me buy a Bentley.
Win your games and you're in. Pretty simple stuff, I thought. I think it's pretty easy. Win your games and you're in.
Yeah. So it's just not easy winning the games.
That's right. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Such pressing issues. All right, welcome back into Mornings in Meridian. Hope you're having a good start to your week here on this Monday morning, December the 9th. Got another text during the break.
Oh.
And I love how it started. I'll read it to you
Okay,
here. I'm going to leave them anonymous, by the way. We should have been in the playoff. We would have beat Notre Dame, but so there was three we's in there. We.
So Frenchman. Okay,
I didn't see you out there on
now.
Saturday.
What was the we? Who was the
talking about Alabama?
Oh, what Alabama?
Since Alabama beat Notre Dame back in the playoff, how long ago was that in the championship? Like 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago.
They still would have beat them now.
I love how the we thing starts.
Well, and the thing is that on any given Saturday, yes, Alabama is the best team in the country, but not on the Saturday they were in Norman.
Nope.
And there were a few others like that. It's the inconsistency. And so, if you're going to lose 3 games, like you said, that's the price you pay.
And the thing about it is, though, I get the gripe about the SEC being the best conference or whatever. I always try to look at things from the outside looking in as well for people that live in the Northeast and the Midwest and up in the, upper, Pacific coast or wherever like that. If we made it all about the SEC, put the best teams in, that's probably the right thing to do. But then again, what do the rest of the folks in the country need to play for?
Yeah. Well, I think you could win the argument. The SEC is,
and guess what? And guess what? You argue about it, and guess what? You're wasting wind because it's not going to change anything.
But it's like the NCAAs when you look at the basketball tournament and you say that you get these small, tiny conferences get automatic bids.
Yes,
and most of them bow out in the first round. But some of them. Well, they do get there. They get the opportunity. And yes, you're leaving out some SEC teams, Big East teams, ACC teams.
All the time.
Probably deserving.
All the time.
However, that could beat those conference champion that get the bids. But it makes it a lot more interesting, doesn't it? Not it's a much bigger tournament, of course. And of course, that's the tradition.
And that's why I love that tournament.
And you're looking for those Cinderellas that are going to the Sweet 16. And that's what makes it exciting. And usually one year or every year, one team will do that. They'll exceed all the expectations and they'll be much better come tournament time than
because you had Loyola Chicago make it all the way deep one year.
Sister Jean.
Yeah. I mean, it was just those kind of stories. But you're right. Those teams get the automatic bid and everybody gets a shot at it.
Sure.
You could finish 0-30.
And
that's why they
make a run. You never know.
Make a run.
But not so much with the football here, but give those who have done what they needed to do during the regular season a chance to compete. The Boise State. And we'll see, hey, they may surprise some people, beat some big teams.
And they got the Heisman Trophy winner, I think.
They should have.
The running back,
with character and everything else that he's contributed to that team, I think he should be the one. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see.
I got a question over here on Facebook about the Branning race. Yes, she did win. They did declare that a couple of days ago, but it was a slim victory, but she did win it in that Supreme Court justice seat.
W's W.
Before we take our next phone call, let's thank our friends down at Premier Paint and Body.
That's right. It says a little foggy this morning. Well, if you get into a little fender bender because of the fog, then you know who to call. It's Premier Paint and Body. Their number 601-482-PAINT. That's pretty easy to remember. Of course, they're easy to find as well because they're right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North, open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. They have been providing the best auto body work and quality paint jobs for over 30 years. And their combined experience among that hardworking, dedicated staff is over 100 years, a century. I think they know what they're doing at this point. If your job is, there's no job too small or too large for them, whether it's a ding, a dent, a scratch, or something much worse, they will fix it like new. They'll work with your insurance company and they'll give you a free I said it, free estimate. And all of their work, of course, has a lifetime warranty, which is why they are the premier paint and body shop in town. Premier Paint and Body, 601-482-PAINT.
All right, let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning, man. Come in peace, love everybody, and there's nothing you can do about it.
How are you, Mississippi James?
All right. Mr. Fraser, I want to give you kudos and maybe even give you flowers.
Ooh.
Flowers.
Stop it now.
Hey, you had your pocket Constitution with you.
He did. He's got it
in there.
Yes, indeed.
And you went in there and you explained. Yeah, there has been 27 amendments made with the Constitution, 27. But it's a process we go through.
That's right.
We can't just go through willy-nilly and change at every whim and wham.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so let's go through the process, whatever we want change. And, you know, I'll say about Trump, we needed Trump in there to shake up this apple cart. Because when we get into Republicans and Democrats, we start talking about, you know, stuff that went through both administrators, never got changed. So,
hey,
so
Mississippi,
you can't blame one.
Hey, Mississippi James, I was going to interrupt you real quick. Charles does not just have one pocket constitution. He's got two. How about that?
That's all right. That's even better.
But one is tiny.
One is very tiny. I will say that. Yeah. It's not huge.
Huge? No, very small.
Yeah. So I want to speak on two things this morning. One that makes me sad and one that makes me glad and happy.
All right.
And the first one, I get it. And the first one I'm talking about, that Tasmania devil.
Oh, boy.
You know, he'll get on here and he'll holler about culture. That's our culture. How does he know what our culture is? And we don't have know what our culture is. And you know, you get some marginalized folks that's been tampered with, that's been manipulated, been marketed to, you know, but I will look at it and say, I am a more representative of our culture than the few negative things that he pick out and say that's indicative of our culture. I think I'm a representative of that. Now, the thing that make me happy that he's sort of like a lone wolf. You don't hear many people echoing what he's saying or rally around him. So that makes sense that most people are sensible and they understand the whole picture instead of just going on one part of it. And I understand his emotion.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I understand his. I'm putting my wife on the bus, so that's reason.
No, you're fine.
Putting the wife on the bus. Yeah. You sending her away?
Yeah, for the day, couple of hours. We both get a break from each other.
She's getting a break from you. I understand. All right.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I look at that and I say he's like a lone wolf. There's not many rallying around him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but hey, he got his rights. And, you know, you even look at Miss Ruth, bless her heart. She's such an educated woman that most of us cannot even relate to what she's saying. You know, 'cause you got to have certain degrees, Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get on the bus.
So, yeah, most of us. Hey, I'll pick her up this afternoon. Okay, all right, we're done with it.
We're getting it.
Bring her back in a few hours. Yeah.
Take her all day.
Hey, I was speaking of Miss Jones. She's such an educated woman and mean well. But when you get upset at what the old Tasmanian devil's saying, and then you react to him, and then you have to call back and apologize. That's not what I meant. That's not what came out your mouth pissed a lot of people's off, including certain things, you know. Mm-hmm. So sometimes she needs to think and not get upset with that man say, because he got his rights to voice anything he want to voice.
That's right.
But when he started talking about what culture it is, I put him up against me. And I said, I think I'm more indicative of our culture than the bad things that he pick out and try to make that as a whole. So anyway, you know, I hate to hold you guys up.
No,
you're fine.
You started a good conversation, and yeah, I hate the term culture when we're applying things like, you know, criminal statistics and things of that nature. But you know, I think we all know that we've got a problem with African-American not a problem with them, but there's a problem that exists within the African-American, the young men community. And, you know, how do we, what's the best way to address that? What do we, you know, how do we solve that problem? How do we, now you can arrest them. That's one thing, but how do we prevent that from recurring in the future? What's the proactive measures that we take to kind of stop the killing that's going on within this community.
Right. Oh, it's going to be hard to reverse it because the seeds have been planted.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go in there and harvest that crop, and I'm just throwing terms out there. Matter of fact, that's a good segue. Thursday, I'm supposed to go to the public school.
Okay.
And give a speech to the guys there at the public school and get involved with. I'm with 2 or 3 programs here, but I'm getting them off the ground. So we'll see. I got some ideas in my head, and I'm gonna need some support, some backup. I don't have all the answers, and as I put these things out here, I need people to analyze them, and say, hey, this won't work. This will work. Let's go with this. Let's hold up on that. But we at least got to get away from doing what we're doing, because we're going down a deep and deeper hole. But I don't think that's our culture. I think I am more of a representative of our culture than, the bad things that's happening.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair enough. I think you are too.
Eliminated some. Oh, yeah.
No, I'll say this, Mississippi James, appreciate your efforts and applaud those.
Awesome.
And you're getting plugged in and you're getting involved in trying to make some change that needs to be made here in the local area.
You're being proactive and whatever we can do to help,
Yeah.
Let us know how it's going.
And I realize I'm like a grain of sand on the beach. But now, in order to build a sand dune or something, we got to have a lot more grains.
You're a sand dude.
Sand dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, appreciate you always calling us up and appreciate you listening out there.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Good luck with your efforts.
I love it. Love it. Getting involved out there.
That's it. Put your money where your mouth is. That's it. We
Yeah.
got to change some things, and it starts with one person.
Absolutely.
Starts with Mississippi James.
Absolutely. Hey, I know who's someone I want to talk to about insurance, and I tell you what, he's a good neighbor.
Good neighbor. Wears khakis. Well, he wears other pants too.
He does sometimes. Jeffrey Wilson, State Farm.
That's right. And here's the deal. When you combine your home and auto with State Farm, you can save an average $889. That'll buy you some Christmas swag right there. And of course, Jeffrey Wilson is ready to help you combine your home and auto and save right here in Meridian. All you got to do is call him 601-483-8253. And of course, we said it 100 times if we've said it once, and that is you got to know your insurance agent.
Amen.
Because when you've got a claim, you call them and they will go to bat for you and get you the most amount of money that you need for that claim. And Jeffrey Wilson, he's just a good friend. He's a good neighbor because he's involved with so many different organizations around town. But go by and see him, stop in, grab a cup of coffee, go see him at 2401 Highway 39 North, or give him a call, 601-483-8253, because he is a good neighbor. Jeffrey Wilson, State Farm. Call him today.
About 12 minutes away from 9 o'clock here on Mornings in Meridian. Still got time for your phone calls at 601-485-9191. Of course, online, WALTmeridian.com. The app, and of course, Facebook Live and YouTube here on this Monday morning. And of course, be sure you got the rain gear handy. Going to be more rain today and early tomorrow. And after that, we're going to get back down into those near freezing temperatures toward the end of the week. So
excellent.
There you go. So there is one parade on the schedule for tonight. Philadelphia is going to have their Christmas parade later on tonight. And there's another handful of those happening all throughout the week. Collinsville's coming up this weekend as well, I believe. So the schedule is loaded down with Christmas parade. So
yeah, we got graduation this week, Thursday and Friday, MCC and MSU, and I believe there is a performance, Chapel Hart at the Temple on Thursday, if memory serves. I think so. I'll have to check on that calendar and see. But that's a great opportunity to see that band. They're kind of on the verge of making it big. So check them out. That's a good Christmas concert.
One story we really haven't got into a whole lot this morning. Of course, I know you've seen the headlines. You've heard Fox News talk about it here on the radio. And Syria, what's going on over there right now? Of course, the dictator Assad has fled Syria and has now been granted asylum in Russia.
Surprise.
And there was a lot of missile attacks on ISIS targets, what the administration is calling ISIS targets there in Syria. And of course, President Trump has come out and said we need to stay completely out of this altogether. What's kind of your take after a very busy weekend overseas?
And, well, there's so much. The Middle East is so dynamic, and of course Syria's been a problem for 20 years now. They've had about 7 faction civil war going on. Well, it looks like one faction has finally taken over, and they were a very conservative group, but I think that they've kind of dropped their conservatism or mellowed it a little bit. But the Assad regime was backed by Iran and Russia, and obviously because that's why they went to in exile in Russia. So it does kind of strategically alter the landscape there and create a little bit of a vacuum, a little bit of a void. Now, obviously, this rebel group that is now in control, and I've forgotten the name, is certainly not very friendly towards the West. So sure, how that all aligns, whether that's a Saudi thing or exactly how that's going to go. But there's obviously Syria is strategically located right there. It borders Israel and a lot of other very strategic countries. Going into Turkey and it's a very large area. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out. How it plays out with the proxy war that the West is kind of fighting with Russia on various fronts, and what will happen, kind of with that vacuum that's left there. So, it's something to watch, certainly. And even though Trump said not get involved, we had at least 75 sorties, I think, bombing, at least runs over and hitting these ISIS targets, which, of course, ISIS now coming back thought that was done, but and certainly don't want them taking over Syria.
No.
So, and I don't think that the ISIS is allied with this group at all. But, whenever there's as I said, a power vacuum, then there's going to be different groups vying for control. But, there was some footage of Assad's palace. And I don't know if you saw that, but these soldiers going in and just rows upon rows of Mercedes, Ferraris.
Wow.
The guy, these people are starving.
Yeah.
And this
look
guy,
at that.
it's typical Middle Eastern dictator. Sure. I hate to say it, but, just taking all that money and buying all those cars. Living the large life. Yeah. Go to Siberia.
And now
it's cold here.
And now he has asylum where? Russia
with Putin.
Yeah, exactly. It is going to be something to watch over the next several days, especially after a busy weekend like it was. So, but and of course, ceasefire talks with Israel. Of course, that's been a topic that's kind of been on the back burner the last few
and
weeks.
I think that there was some more attacks on Hezbollah in southern Lebanon that they had violated some terms of the ceasefire.
Yeah.
And so that's it's not heating up again, but certainly there's been a little more action than there has been last week.
All right, we're going to take our last break and pay off some bills. We'll be back to wrap up the show after this. likes to rock it, likes to go real fast. Santa likes to ride in the boogie woogie choo-choo train. No matter how Santa gets to your house, hope you've been nice and not naughty this year. So 601-485-9191. Still got just a couple of more minutes if you want to sneak a phone call in before Glenn Beck invades the studio.
You also got 15 days to be nice. So keep that in mind as well.
Ooh.
If you've been naughty for the last 300 and whatever, 60.
Exactly. Before we get out of here in just a couple of minutes, hey, let's talk about our friends down at Purvis Business Machines. Jerry and Betty Purvis, Don Lucas, amazing staff down there at Purvis.
That's right. They are indeed. And of course, all you got to do is call them at 601-693-COPY, and they will bring you a lease return color copier, and you can save up to 85%. They also have black and white copiers too.
Wow.
And even cheaper than those. And those are just gently used. I mean, they're almost virtually brand new. Can't save up to 85% on anything these days, but you can at Purvis Business Machines. And what's great about them is they will bring that copier to your home or business. They will hook it up and connect all your devices to it. It's seamless. Connectivity is the key, my friend. And of course, all you need to do is call them 601-693-COPY or go down and see them at their beautiful showroom, 4505 Highway 39 North, or check them out online, gopurvis.com. What I really like about Purvis is their motto, because they stand by it. Service, not excuses. And they've been doing that since 1979.
Well, there's no excuse for a certain baseball player not to say he's got enough money now or will have enough money. I'm pretty sure you heard the news there throughout the morning. A little sports story to kind of wrap up the show here. Juan Soto, of course, Major League Baseball player, played with the Yankees this past year, played most of his career with the Washington Nationals, signed a brand new deal. He is now moving across town to the Mets. So he's staying in New York, 15 years, $765 million. Wow. Richest contract in sports history.
But I mean, how many years, 2, 3 before we hit $1 billion?
I see it coming.
Yeah. 2 years, you think?
I think someone like maybe an Ohtani or someone like that will end up, because baseball contracts are, all the contracts are ridiculous for professional athletes now, but baseball has taken it to a fisticuff levels now.
It sure has.
With these contracts. But the thing about it is 15 years, I think there's like an opt-out and there could be a trade maybe in 4 or 5 years. So he's not going to play the entire 15 years there with the Mets. Probably don't.
But still, the numbers are mind-boggling.
But 15 years, $765 million.
I want to sign a contract like that. I worked for 15 years.
He's a good player, but I don't know if he's that good.
Yeah, well,
hey, if you're going to give me the money, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it for sure. So, well, I know we got some folks ringing up here, but we are out of time. We are literally right on top of the hour here, but call us back tomorrow at 485-9191. And of course, we'll be on Facebook Live again tomorrow and YouTube. And Roger, I know some have been wondering, he'll be back on Wednesday.
Who? Oh, that other guy. Right. I remember him.
Yeah, he shows up sometimes.
Maybe.
Hey, he had a pretty good string going.
Streak like 7, 8, maybe.
That was a good. That was a.
Count,
I mean, it wasn't Cal Ripken or anything, but it was still pretty good.
Slightly less than Cal.
Folks, have a great day. Glenn Beck is next, followed by Clay and Buck, Sean Hannity, and my man Joe Pags on your drive home. Folks, be safe out there today. Keep the rain gear handy, and don't text and drive. And always buy local. See ya.